the world changes soon. Can get a doobie on a plane, but there's Uzis in our schools. Every dude who touched a boob or a booty getting me too. What you expect from the kids who went to Hooters after school? We're all triggered and defensive. We're all racist and we're sexist. We all grew up watching South Park. How are we offended? Now being fat is beautiful. Name a thing that you can't do. Jumping jacks, run a mile, live past 42. Man, it used to be cool to just flip a bird to the system. And
Welcome to the Red Pill Sports and Entertainment Show. I am your host, Albert Apache, and as usual, brought to you by Open Source, Self-Defense, Fitness, and Grappling. Okay, guys, time to do part 2 of what the Dallas Cowboys need to do to make Dak a Super Bowl run type of quarterback. So first, let me say that I think that what needs to be done in a nutshell is on the offensive side is going back to when Dak had his most success, which is when Dak had a great running game. So some interesting free agents that will be on the market coming up this year would be like Leonard Fournette, Sonny Michel, Chase Edmonds. But in all honesty, I really don't think Jerry Jones should take a look at signing any free agent running backs. He really needs to restructure Zeke. It's a pretty big impact to the cap, and given the amount of impact Zeke is having, whether it's because guys are planning for him, game planning for Zeke, or whether it's because Zeke has lost a step, it doesn't matter. The reality is the production is down. And he needs to ensure he can hold on to Pollard for at least another 2, maybe 3 years. Where Jerry Jones really needs to invest is in the O-line. And this starts with acknowledging that as great a guy as he's been, Tyron Smith has seen better days. He is a good blocker, but the reality is he's aging, he's getting up there, and the issues that you see with him are only going to be exacerbated as he gets up in age. You could take a look at in free agency, maybe Orlando Brown from the Chiefs. He'll be a free agent. He's about 6 years younger, so it should make a difference that he's a little bit younger and you're getting a little bit more explosiveness as far as youth is concerned. Next, really need to address the O-lineman, which has cost his team the most amount of yards and penalties in all the NFL, and that's Connor Williams. Now, I understand that Connor Williams has a lot of upside. His ceiling is very high, but it really is a huge deal that Connor Williams has given up so much yardage on the offensive side via penalties. And it's something that people just want to look the other way on. And I think that's part of the problem with the culture with the Dallas Cowboys and why they underachieve when they get to the playoffs, is that people look at talent, they look at the upside, and then, Jerry Jones sees that and he's like, well, I'm going to keep this guy around because, well, he's got a lot of upside. Well, yeah, but does he execute? Does he come through when it matters in the game and in the biggest games? A lion's share of those penalties are for holding on top of that, which kind of tells me that that's a footwork problem. That means that he is not moving his feet. He's being a bit lazy. And regardless of how high his upside is, really should look to upgrade there or replace him with somebody who's maybe a little bit more reliable. Laken Tomlinson of the Niners will be a free agent. So you could possibly replace 2 guys, one who's aging, one who is a penalty machine, with 2 guys who are either a little bit younger or a little bit more reliable with better footwork. And this should hopefully, get you a little bit better in the run game. Also of note, James Daniels, offensive guard of the Bears, will also be a free agent. So there are plenty of ways to invest in this offensive line in order to make the running game better. Next, really closely related to the offensive line, I guess technically it is part of the offensive line, is the tight end. Dalton Schultz is going to be a free agent. JJ has to keep him. I mean, given the amount of time invested into he and Dak creating chemistry, invested a ton of time with coaching. And here's the thing. Possessions are a very big deal, and possession receivers are key to a dominant ball control offense. So with Schultz's emergence this past season, I think that they really need to keep Schultz. Now, this will all help the offense go away from being a gunslinging type of offense and be a more ball control tactical offense. I really feel the pressure needs to be taken away from Dak in order for him to be a successful quarterback. Dak has his most success when he can play off of the play action. Okay. Sticking with the running game, if JJ does want a new exciting face to add to the running back stable, he should look to the draft. In my mind, Kenneth Walker III would be an amazing addition to the stable of backs that we have. Now, I know at first that seems like a long shot to get Kenneth Walker. He's been an amazing running back out there at Michigan State, doing a lot of amazing things. That being said, there are a lot of draft analysts that think that there isn't going to be a single running back taken in the first round, which means that you're talking about getting into the second and possibly the third round with some of the higher rated running backs in this draft class. So do I think it's realistic or a possibility that Kenneth Walker fall to the Dallas Cowboys? Absolutely, I do. And I think that that is the way you want to add explosiveness or excitement to the running game. Maybe not round one, but if you could get him in round two, I think round one would be fine where the Cowboys are at. I think right now they're at slot 29. I mean, that's low round one, essentially high round two. I think that would be a worthwhile pick for the Dallas Cowboys and help get the running game back on track. If Kenneth Walker was not available at the Cowboys draft position, some other running backs that may fall into the second round, maybe even third, that would really help out the Dallas Cowboys would be Breece Hall out of Iowa. I really like a lot of the things that he does out of the backfield. And then Isaiah Spiller from Texas A&M. These are solid running backs. And as I stated before, there are a lot of draft analysts that don't think that any of these guys are going to go in the first round and that your first running backs are going to go in the second and third round. So it's not unrealistic to think that if we're going to add somebody to the stable of running backs, you could probably get a pretty good running back in the second or third round. So now let's also go to where Dallas needs to spend, or where they should spend. And the biggest thing that they need to do that will change the game is to spend on defense. First he needs to manage a couple of free agents, starting with realizing that Leighton Vander Esch has to go. I mean, LVE, if you watched him, maybe it's Dan Quinn's system, maybe it's, he's getting old, or his injury just, never allowed him to be the same. But pretty much LVE absorbed blocks and didn't make many plays. I mean, he was more extremely reactive. He just took on blocks and ate blocks and didn't really do much with it. Then we have to retain Randy Gregory and Javon Curse. I think those are very, very important pieces to the Dallas Cowboy defense in order to make it a dominant defense. And next, we got to spend that draft capital and money on free agents. Free safeties on the market. You got Jesse Bates from the Bengals. You got Quandre Diggs with the Seahawks. Tyrann Mathieu with the Chiefs. These guys are really good safeties. They should add to your defensive stoutness, should make your defense better. And, these are free agents that will be out there. Linebackers, if we want to go the linebacker route. Roquan Smith with the Bears, he should be available. And there are just so many things that the Dallas Cowboys can do to prop up their defense. Fred Warner from the Niners could possibly be a trade partner, right? The Niners could possibly look to want to trade Fred Warner and get a good defense guy into the Dallas Cowboys again. And, DLine, Many think that the edge rushers in this upcoming draft class is the deepest it's ever been. So you listen to a lot of these draft analysts, and they're talking up quite a bit the number of edge rushers that will be available. And so, of course, we could use interior D linemen as well, but the holy grail is to find a edge rusher that can move inside and outside, that can stop the run and rush the passer. I mean, that's going to be hard to find in young guys coming out of college, but they can be found, or they can be developed. Corey Durden out of NC State, I really like this guy because he's big enough to play on the line. He does need some coaching on discipline and keeping his balance. He does, tend to lose his balance at times because of the speed at which he plays at. But he's a big guy, big body. Hopefully can help on the line to stop the run. And definitely worth a third-round pick, if possible. I mean, you never know how things work out in the draft. If Devontae Wyatt out of Georgia is available, you could definitely take that guy and go ahead and, really beef up that D line in the draft. So all in all, Dallas Cowboys, if Dak is to be the quarterback that takes you back to the Super Bowl, the reality is that Dak cannot be the crowning jewel of this team. The defense needs to be the crowning jewel, followed closely by the running game, and Dak is more along for the ride. Make Dak back into a game manager. We've seen this experiment of making him a gunslinger. It's not who Dak is. He still does not throw guys open. He still misses guys who are wide open. He still tries to force the ball. He loves to throw the ball to his first read, regardless of how bad or how tight the coverage is. It's just not working out. And we've seen, this is 6 seasons in. This is 6 seasons in, Dallas Cowboy fans. It's time to realize that Dak is not that guy. Okay, he is not an Aikman. He is not a Tom Brady. He's not an Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be more like a Brad Johnson. Maybe even a closer analogy would be an Eli Manning. Is he going to pull out a couple of throws for you here and there? Yeah. But Eli's Giants, those Giants that went on to win Super Bowls, they had amazingly strong defenses. They had very strong running games, and Eli just mixed in a couple of passes here and there where they really needed it. Okay, guys, that's all I got. Thank you for listening. Remember, please like, subscribe, comment down below. Remember, the goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by July 4th, so liking and sharing the content really helps out with that. I appreciate it. And until next time, remember, be practical, be purposeful, get fit with a purpose, guys.
Name a thing that you can't do. Jumping jacks, run a mile, live past 42. Man, it used to be cool to just flip a bird to the system, and now it's trendy to be triggered and pretend you're a victim. It's my race, it's my weight, it's because I'm a Christian. I hate the internet and anyone who has an opinion. And everybody angry if you say white. Okay, fine. Pass me the brush and I'll paint my face to the shades right. Let's talk about abortion. Sorry, tell me how this works. Bacteria is life on Mars, but a heartbeat isn't life on Earth? Weird. You're so stupid.